Hello everyone. In the series of our textual analysis of the drama Macbeth, as previously we have analyzed the scene first of act first of the drama Macbeth. Now we come to scene second of the same act. Now I am sharing the text of scene second. As you can see on the top, that a camp near forest. Forest is the place where the battle is going on between Macbeth and Donalbain, the traitor. Alarum within enter Duncan, Malcolm, Donalbain, Lennox. These are the characters in this scene with attendants meeting a bleeding sergeant. So these all character meet to a bleeding sergeant, means the sergeant is wounded. Now Duncan says, "What bloody man is that? He can report as seemed by his plight of the revolt." When Duncan sees that bleeding sergeant, he asks, "Who is that man?" And he says that he can report as seemed by his plight of the revolt. So I can assume that this sergeant can give us the actual detail of the revolt. Revolt is referred to the battle which is going on. So this sergeant can give us the actual report of the battle, the newest state, and he can give us the newest report. Okay, what's going on there? Now Malcolm says, "This is the sergeant." Now Malcolm confirms that he is the sergeant of our army, who, like a good and hardy soldier, fought against my captivity. And he also recalls an incident when Malcolm was captured by enemy, and this sergeant fought very bravely at that time. "Hell, brave friend." Now Malcolm is talking to the sergeant. "Say to the king the knowledge of the broil." And he asked the sergeant to give the detail of the battle to the king. "As thou didst leave." Okay, when you left the battle, what was going there? So now you must give the report to the king. "Doubtful it stood." Now the sergeant replies, "Doubtful it stood" means when the sergeant left the battle, the result of the battle was doubtful, means we cannot say that who is going to win. "As two spent swimmers." Now these two spent swimmers refer to Macbeth and Donalbain. These both are spent. Spent means exhausted. These both men were exhausted. They do cling together, and they were fighting closely and choked their art, and they were fighting against each other's skills. "The merciless MacDonald, worthy to be a rebel." And MacDonald, who is worthy to be a traitor, for to that the multiplying villainies of nature, and as he was multiplying the evil deeds on his head, do swarm upon him. From the western isle of Cairns and Gallo Glasses is supplied. And In the battle, MacDonald was assisted by the Western Isles. Isles means islands of Kerns and Galleglasses. Kerns means light armed forces or light soldiers or on foot soldiers, and Galleglasses. Galleglasses are the heavy soldiers who carry heavy weapons. So MacDonald was assisted by Western Islands with light and heavy soldiers, and fortune on his damned quarrel smiling, and it was appearing as if MacDonald would going to win this war. For brave Macbeth, shot like a rebel's hoe, but all too weak, but all his effort went vain. For brave Macbeth, well, he deserved that name, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel. But Macbeth, as he was very brave, and he actually deserved this name, means he deserved the name Brave Macbeth because of his brave behavior. Disdaining fortune means he denied the fortune of MacDonald with his brandished steel, means with his shining steel is referred to his sword, which smoked with bloody execution, and his sword was all stained with blood. Like valor minion carved out his passage, as his behavior was as if he is very dear to God, and he carved out his passage, means he made his passage or place till he faced the slave, until he went near to the slave. The slave is referred to MacDonald. So he made his way by his brave efforts, and ultimately he went near to MacDonald, which never shook hands nor bade farewell to him. So as soon as Macbeth reached near to MacDonald, he didn't waste any time in shaking hand or bidding him farewell, till he unseamed him from nave to the chaps. And as soon as he saw MacDonald, he chopped him from navel to his jaw, and fixed his head upon our battlements, and he hanged the head of MacDonald on the castle. Now Duncan says, "O valiant cousin, worthy gentleman." These are the words referred to Macbeth. Sergeant, as whence the sun gains his reflection. Okay? Means as whence the sun gains his reflection, means when the sun rises from east, shipwrecking storm and direful thunder break. This is also the time when heavy storm also break out, which made the ship wrecked. So from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. In the same manner, when it was appearing that our army is going to win the battle, at the same time some discomfort also appeared. Mark, King of Scotland, mark. Now I request you to the king that you should now listen to me very attentively. No sooner justice had, with valor armed, compelled these skipping kerns to trust their heels, means when The army of MacDonald was running away or fleeing from the battlefield, but the Norwegian lord, serving vantage with furbished arms and new supplies of men. At the same time, when the MacDonald's army was fleeing from the battle, and it was appearing that we will soon win the battle, but at the same time, Norwegian king came there to help MacDonald with his army. Began a fresh assault. Then they began a fresh assault. Assault means attack. Duncan, dismayed not these are captains Macbeth and Banquo. Now Duncan is asking to Sergeant, did it frighten our generals Macbeth and Banquo? Sergeant, yes. As sparrows, eagles, or the hare, the lion. Actually, yes here means no. And now he is giving a comparison. As sparrows, eagles, or hare, the lion. As eagles are not frightened by the attack of sparrows, or the lions by the hares, so were Macbeth and Banquo not frightened by this attack. As cannons overcharged with double cracks, so they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe. They fought with double courage and force like the cannons, having loaded with double the amount of powder. Except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds or memorize another Golgotha. Means it seemed that they wanted to bathe in the hot reeking blood, or they wanted to make the battle as renowned as the Battle of Golgotha. Golgotha is the place where Jesus Christ was executed. I cannot tell, but I am faint, my gaseous cry for help. Now I am unable to tell you, because I am fainting. My wounds must be attended to at once. Duncan, so will thy words become thee as thy wounds. Now Duncan says, both your words and your wounds testify to your courage and honor. Now he commands to the attendants. They smack honor both. Go get him surgeons. Now he commands to the attendants. Take him to the surgeons. Who comes here? Now there is one more person, and Duncan is asking, who is that person? Malcolm, the worthy Thane of Ross. Now Malcolm is replying that he is the Thane of Ross. Lennox, what a haste looks through his eyes, so should he look. Lennox says, there is an expression of haste in his looks. A man who carries strange news always wears such looks. Enter Rose. Now Rose come to the scene. Rose, God save the king. Duncan, whence camest thou, worthy Thane? Now Duncan is asking, worthy Thane, where are you coming from? Rose, from Fife, great king. Rose replied, I am coming from Fife, your majesty, where the banner of the king of Norway flying. where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people called Norway himself. Rose says that I am coming from that place where the Norwegian banners or flags are flying, and these banners or flags are flouting, means humiliating or insulting the sky, and fan are people called Norway himself, and these banners or flags are also frightening our people with terrible numbers, and these flags or these banners were great in number. Assisted by that most disloyal traitor, and there was also the most disloyal traitor of Scotland, and it is no other than MacDonald. The Thane of Cawdor began a dismal conflict. Then Thane of Cawdor is referred to the Norwegian king or the king of Norway, began a dismal conflict. Then Norwegian king started a frightening battle with our generals, till the Bellona's bridegroom, leapt in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons. But till that Bellona's bridegroom is referred to Macbeth. Bellona is actually the war goddess of Greek. Leapt in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons, but our brave general Macbeth fought with him very bravely. Point against point, rebellious, arms against arms. So he fought with Norwegian king on equal measures, curbing his lavish spirit, and to conclude, the victory fall on us. He opposed the rebels at every step and gave blow for blow. In the end, their spirit broke down and we won. Duncan, great happiness. Duncan says that this is a great news for us. Rose, that now. Sweno, the Norwegian king, crave composition, nor wound we deign him burial to his men, till he disbursed a cent column inch, $10,000 to our general use. Now Rose says, the king of Norway begged for peace, but we would not allow him to bury his dead soldiers till he pays us $10,000 at St. Column Island for our soldiers. So this was the condition for compromise. Duncan, no more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Now Duncan says that the Thane of Cawdor shall no more betray our dear interest. Go pronounce his present death. And now I order you to go and announce that he is condemned to death. And with his former title, Great Macbeth. And he says that go and confer the title of Thane of Cawdor on Macbeth. In this way, the title of Norwegian king, that is Thane of Cawdor, has been conferred upon Macbeth by King Duncan. Rose, I'll see it done. Rose said that I shall see that your command is carried out. Duncan, what Cawdor has lost by his villainy, what he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won. Duncan says that what Cawdor has lost by his villainy, Macbeth has won by his valor or courage. And in this way, this is the end of scene second. Thank you.